Hey folks, Elaine Marolakos Edelson with AstrologyMojo. Want to help you get your mojo back. Please remember, folks, that the planets are not doing anything to you, that you live in a cooperation with the cosmos. So when you make a move, it's reflected by way of aspects and angles in a chart. That's all it is. It's like reading a lab report. Your choices are making your world. Okay, we're going to talk about how to navigate the upcoming solar eclipse in Libra at 21 degrees, and I believe it's 8 minutes. Yes, 21 degrees, 8 minutes. It's a new moon, and that's on October 14th. Why am I talking about it way in advance? Because nothing ever stops or starts on a dime in the universe, and you are going to start feeling this, especially those people who are focused on harmonious relationships, understanding their finances better, and or making an impact, whether it's in the medical world or the legal world or helping the underprivileged. Libra represents harmony, and especially with relationships. Now, what's interesting, and that's not a feeling word, is it? Interesting. What's going to blow some people's socks off is that the two eclipses that we have in the month of October are both Venus ruled. And that means the solar eclipse in Libra, the lunar eclipse on October 28th at 5 degrees of Taurus, which wraps up the culmination of the Taurus eclipses from we had last May and then previous 6 months before that. So what we're looking at is really having value. Okay, with the hands, that's how I'm doing it. Value and what that security means to you. And if you are a Taurus, sun, rising, or moon, or know a Taurus, sun, rising, or moon, or a Libra, same, you know that there is a definite difference in the two signs' energies. One is an earth sign, which is fixed, and the other is a cardinal, which is an air sign. And so the energies of this particular solar eclipse are lining up. In fact, I'll show you. Come say hello to me. Where is it? There it is. Okay, they're lining up with Mercury and the moon just to kick it off. And the moon represents your intuitive self, your financial self, women and children as well, but also that feeling, the mood. What is setting the mood with a Libra moon coming up? We have that sensation of, I don't want to make waves. I can't side with either opinion. I'll just nod my head. I'll have a private opinion, says the Libra energy. I'll have a private opinion. I will voice my opinion, but it depends on to whom and not always at the time that it's necessary. Sometimes it's in hindsight. And then with Mercury in Libra, right here, you see? Mercury in Libra, and this is on October 14th. These energies will be opposing the North Node in Aries. So the pull to want to get going, but wait, I'm not certain. What if that's not a reputable company to invest in? What if I feel like I'm attracting the same friend over again? What if I am undecided or indecisive? What if I know this is what I've wanted forever and ever and ever and ever? I remember when my kid, who is a Taurus, said, I've always wanted this. I mean, they were 3. It's like, always? Okay. For 3 years. And so the extremes are going to show themselves. Now, on the collective stage, when we look at Libra energy, we're looking at pacifying diplomatic relations. We're looking at the difference between evaluation and judgment. So, hey, Barbie. What's the difference between evaluation and judgment? Evaluation is I'm going to look at the information. I'm going to use my intuition as a guide. I'm going to weigh and balance, hence the scales. And so That's an evaluation. A judgment is, look at her wearing those pants. How old is she? Okay. A judgment causes harm, and an evaluation is information so that you can make a decision. Now, when a Libra energy is stuck between two places, oh, I don't know, or should I? Or they make a silent vow, oh, I'm never going to do that because it harms people in Europe if I buy this cell phone, or kids in Africa and the copper mines. So, and then then it's go hard. Then it's, I'm going to sign that petition. I'm going to I'm going to sue. I'm going to go to court. So you have to watch the extremes with the Libra energy. I once knew someone who, with a lot of Libra energy, would not use any negative words when describing a situation. But behind the scenes, oh my gosh, the judgments left and right. And I also knew this other Libra person who would say things to me like, oh, do you want to go for a hike? And I would say, not right now. And then they'd come over unannounced with their hiking shoes on. And so the militant energy comes through, but also the indecisive energy. So when I'm looking at, hey, Kathy, so glad you're here today. Okay, so when I'm looking at Mercury, which represents perception and beliefs, and then communication, it's what you believe. And your lens of reality matches no one else's. None. You might have a bestie and you go, oh, yeah, we hold hands and skip. And we have the same, oh my God, we have the same like art, taste in art and movies and film. And my husband and I were saying the other day, we get along so well because we have similar tastes, similar. And he's a Taurus rising, I'm a Taurus. And, but we have differences. And everyone's going to have a difference because no one is like you. No one. Aren't you special? I think so. You need to think so now. Because when this eclipse energy comes in, and it does its thing on October 14th, or depending on where you are in the world, there's going to be this sense of justice needs to be done. What's happening over here? What are those people? What are they doing? Well, we need to help them. They look like they're starving, or they look like they're campaigning for a cause, or right. So whatever they're doing, whatever you're doing, no matter your sign, I want you to look at where Libra is in your chart, because everyone has Libra on the cusp of a house. There are 12 houses in astrology, and it goes around the wheel. This wheel is not numbered, but it begins with the first house, and the ascendant is always on the eastern line. And that's the first house, the second house, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10, 11, 12. And if you were a Scorpio rising, if this were your chart, you would have the eclipse taking place, depending on degree, most likely in the 12th house. But so you want to see where the eclipse is happening in Libra in your chart, and where Mercury and the moon are situated. And because we have this opposition to the Aries North Node. The North Node is a calculation of the moon and represents your direction. It's the open door to your future. It's the next best thing. And with the square from the Aries North Node, which is a tense angle at 90 degrees, to Pluto, which is still in Capricorn until January, and then it moves into Aquarius for 19 plus years. And then this squares all the way to this eclipse energy. What this tells me, if your head's spinning right now, and I'm talking astrology, that's okay. I'm talking astrology to the people who want to know astrology. So that's okay. But the square is a feeling of what is that? Something's nagging at me. I'm not comfortable. Something's bothering me. And it could look like an obstacle, but everything in your world is created by you. Oh, baby, it's you. Isn't that good to know, though? Because that puts you in the position of power. Absolute power. So the squares from Pluto to the sun, Mercury, moon, and the south node in Libra, is showing us collectively that something's got to stop. All right, we've had enough of that. And because of that, and it's so ironic. I want to say ironical. It's not a word, but it's so ironic because in order to stop something that is causing a disturbance, you might create a disturbance to stop the disturbance. So that's an extreme on like a multidimensional level. So it's like, let's bring it down to earth. We look at, okay, there's somebody protesting in your town, or we want to ban, California just banned certain products like bromide, which has been banned in China and Europe for years, and in many countries, and in Canada. It's put in our breads, cakes, cookies. I mean, I'm keto, so I don't eat it. I make my own stuff. I eat healthy. I look at ingredients. So you might suddenly go, oh, I just became aware of this thing. And suddenly, now you're going to champion the cause. No more bromide. Yeah, let's sign a petition. Okay, great. Sign a petition. But the moment you start to inflict that, got to get it done on other people, it's the same vibration as what you're trying to stop. So when you're doing this, we want harmony, right? We want harmony. And the solar eclipse is going to show you where you have disharmony in your world. And we all do. And sometimes, and I know for me, it's every time I look at having to upgrade technology, I'm just like, I'm scrolling with my mouse and I'm reading and I'm clicking and I'm researching, and then I just like, I get up and I walk away. Someone said, oh, I pinned it. And I'm like, okay, you're talking to me as if I'm you. Where did you pin it? How do I get there? What's the route? It's like my heart goes out to people who are, especially older generations, who are not able to wire their brains and wrap their heads around stuff because they're going to find their extremes. And that's where the cause related stuff comes in with Libra. Cause related, because having to deal with this with my mom years ago, almost 6 years ago now, when she's off planet now, but I would call, what is it? Not HBO, but the digital service or whatever. And they would say, okay, well, just go online. And I was like, okay, stop right there. My mother does not have internet. My mother does not have a computer. How is she going to go online? Oh, okay. How about her cell phone? It's like, okay, she has a flip phone. So the frustration in connecting the extremes might show itself. Do your best to look for the solution. That is the answer. You're looking for the solution because we have Mercury. I'm going to make this bigger if I can. Let me see. There we go. We have Mercury is the perception of harmony and balance. You're weighing it, you're balancing, you're holding it, you're letting it go, you're talking about it, you're communicating, you're holding it in. So if you come to the place of just saying, oh, I'm just going to do it myself, that's not balance. That's not harmony. So what is the perception around the issue? And why are you resisting moving forward? Now, the resistance can come with that feeling of, I just need a little more time or a little more research. There's nothing right or wrong about that, because Libra energy is very set on what's right and what's wrong. But we want to look at, okay, if you need something to happen with someone else, you're on an insurance phone call, you're talking to your brother-in-law, you're working at the kid's school, it doesn't matter what the scenario, you want to look for the right questions to ask to stop the spinning. And some of those questions are, especially if someone is coming at you. I have a client I've been talking to who has some nasty relatives and they have to get some stuff done. So, and I said, well, to stand in your ground, you cannot be reduced to a child emotionally. So you have to stand your ground emotionally, relax your physical body, just creaky, relax your physical body, and hear what the other person is saying. And when they are repeating a traumatic thing over and over and dumping their crap on you, you can say, okay, thank you for that information. But this complaint that you have is not helping us solve the problem. So in order to let's see, how can we move forward? What is the solution in your mind? How can we negotiate something? And that's everything is a negotiation. Whether you think you're a business person or not, you are negotiating something. It's like so people go on eBay and they're like, oh no, I'm just going to wait till the seconds tick down and then I'm going to put in my number. And so it's a negotiation. You navigate the world all the time, right? So I want you to keep in mind that this negotiation that you're about to embark on starts inside. So if you have mixed, tangled feelings before you get into that meeting to present your artwork so that it can be, put in the company brochure, whatever is going on, that energy, that it puts a vibe on your outcome. So you want to go in feeling harmonized. And how do you do that? It's meditation. It's always ever been meditation, breathing, getting centered, because if your head is trying to solve the problem and your heart is spinning, it's a disconnect, and that's an extreme. So the positive side is when we look at how we feel or we're confronted with a situation, somebody cuts you off in traffic, instead of flipping them the bird, you can literally just say, okay, somebody cut me off in traffic. So you validate what just happened and you say, I'm just going to slow down now and let them go on their merry way. So finding the center is the challenge, right? That's what these squares represent. Now, the moon is you're going to want to keep the peace. So if you're a people pleaser and someone is raging in your vicinity, you're going to feel that, and you're going to feel guilty for not standing up for yourself. You're going to feel guilty for standing up for yourself. You're going to feel guilty for everything. So to step back, that's all I'm doing, is stepping back and saying, okay, wow, they're yelling, but they're not yelling at me. They're upset. So validate the situation. I can hear how upset you are. It takes you out of the equation. Does that make sense? Is this helping? Come say hello to me. We're talking about the upcoming eclipse in Libra and how it can play out on the global world, how it can play out in your life. Now, I also want to talk about finances, because Libra represents financial concerns as well as medical concerns. I know a lot of nurses who are Librans or Libra risings, or I know a lot of people in the military who have that energy. And you would go, but they're such diplomatic people. How could they, want to be in, the police service or sign up for the military? And it's for protection. Venus, one of the definitions for Venus is protection. And it doesn't mean harm or war. That would be a definition of Mars and Pluto. But it represents, how can we put up a defense against without creating extremes? Mind blower. How can we do that? How can you do that in your world? I want you to just keep a steady pace of how you're feeling, and think about all the times you get triggered. And sometimes a trigger can be someone who is really calm, and you're going through something very emotional, and it's ticking you off that they're so calm. They're not telling you to relax. That's the worst thing you can do to someone who's having a anxiety or panic attack or who's really upset. But validating helps. Wow, you look really upset. Or, oh my gosh, you're so sad. What just happened? How can I help you? So in asking these neutral yet supportive questions, that's the first step in the door to harmony. The next step would be feeling your feelings and saying, oh my gosh, I want to cry because I feel what you're going through. That's empathy. And instead of the just nodding of the head, I had a friend once, past tense, long time ago, who anytime I was going through something, I would say, oh my gosh, and blah, blah, blah. And they would go, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. Are you good? And it occurred to me after a few times of that kind of exchange, and I said, I express how I'm feeling and I'm crying, and you're just nodding your head like you're a psychotherapist and telling me, okay, time's up. We'll see you next week. That serves me not. I don't want you to come into my world. And that's the thing about energy. When we are in a spin, we want people to champion our cause and come fight the cause with us and be just as upset. But what's not productive is to expect someone to do that. But if you know, and you're working on being conscious in as many moments as possible and being present, feel your feelings. Do not negate them by going into your head and thinking about your feelings. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about you exploding over the garbage being on the ground, or I'm going to think about how I just reacted emotionally but didn't open my mouth and say anything. So there's extremes happening. Does this make sense? Is that helping anyone? Please let me know you're here. We're talking about the solar eclipse in Libra at 21 degrees 8 minutes, which happens on October 14th. And it's going to be coupled with the moon in Libra as we kick it off, and South Node in Libra and Mercury in Libra. And so this harmonious energy is going to find an extreme, and your vibration is going to be very key. And that's the reason, oh, by the way, I'm blabbering away here. That's the reason I am promoting my, where are we now? Here we go. Oh, let me get out of here. My eclipse sessions, because we're also going to be doing the, hey, Sage, hi. Kathy says that's true. We're also going to be talking about the lunar eclipse in Taurus. And that happens on October 28th. Now, so the whole month is going to be know what I value, watch my extremes, and what do I really want? And who do I want in my life? Because as my vibration changes, I'm going to attract different things to me, right? That's just only ever how it works. Your vibration is attracting everything in your world. So if you say, why did that person step on my toes? That's not okay. That's not fair. I'm so kind. I give it Christmas, blah, 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 all that stuff. Then you stop and say, okay, something about me just pay attention, get out of the head and go into the heart space and pay attention and say, okay, if someone is demanding an answer, like, we need to know right now, are you on board? Are you're going to sign, you're going to donate, you're going to come to the meeting, or are you going to meet up at the thing? It's like, I don't know. And it could be a happy thing. It's like, yeah, we're all meeting up to go bike riding. Oh, I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I think about it. It's like, you cannot push an answer because you'll regret it. You know that. So you can say, I'm just going to take a little time and I'll get back to you. And if they say, well, I need to know in 5 minutes, and you can say, okay. The old marketing slogan is that a confused mind will always say no. That's just the way it works. So you want to get clear on things. I'm going to pull a little card for everyone right now. So what are some things that are showing up for you? Because some people who are highly sensitive start to feel in advance the extremes. And it's not always a negative. Sometimes it's, I can't wait to get going, because that feeling of, and let me put this back up. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Sometimes that extreme is the impetus, for, I got to get going. I've been hanging on to this thing for years. I have been talking about doing this thing for months, and now I want to do it. And so you just want to line up and match your vibration to what's happening in your environment, because the bottom line is a Libra vibration is that energy of, is that okay with you? Every time I hear a parent, and our kid's 24 now, and they have a job, they're an artist, but they're also teaching at a private school for little ones. And so, but it's so funny because they called up and said, oh my gosh, Mom, thank you so much. You're the best mom. It's like, I learned so much from you guys. Now I can apply it. And I'm not losing my mind, because anytime I would hear a parent say to a toddler, all right, we're going to put our shoes on and we're going to go now. Okay. Okay. Leaves it open for discourse and rebuttal. It's not okay. We're going to put our shoes on and we're going to leave in 3 minutes. Let's look at the clock, or let's, you find a way to negotiate. And by giving two choices, if you've got kids, by the way, a little sidebar, if you've got kids, they are highly affected by all celestial events and energy because they're so open to things. So if you've got kids and you want them to do something, give them two choices that you want them to do. This way, when they pick, they feel empowered. And I remember doing this with our kid. They had a stuffed nose. They never wanted to blow their nose. And I had one of those nasal irrigators. And so I said, okay, here you go. Which one do you want? You pick your choice. You get to choose. And they were like, I'll take the tissue. It's like, okay, wow. And that is so empowering for people. So apply that to adult situations too. So someone, you might say, I'm so ready to get going on this thing. And your tech person, or your relative or your coworker or whatever the situation is, oh, we're not ready yet. Okay. And you're like raring to go and they're not ready to go. So here comes an extreme. So you can say, okay, I'm not going to push the river. I'd like you to give me a time frame. What do you think is needed to get this thing done on time? And, then you have this discourse. So in the meantime, while you're waiting, I mean, if you're waiting for the sun to come up, you can't make it come up any earlier unless you get on a plane and you fly in the opposite direction, right? So in order to bide your time consciously, focus on who you are right now, what you're feeling, and what you can do to feel satisfied and productive. That's it. Find something you can do to feel satisfied and productive so that the extremes don't put you in a place of frustration. Like, I'm waiting. Let's go. Does that make sense? Is this helping? Okay. Let me see. So what are some things that people might be going through? Just let me know. I'm going to pull a card from the Universal Law deck. And I'm not giving personal readings right now, but I'm just saying bring up a topic where if you keep, what is the recurring issue? That's what you want to find out, because recurring issues show you your patterns. Oh, of course, we're going to have this card. It's love. Everything comes from love, doesn't it? Because that's what you are. So first and foremost, every day, just say it. Even if you don't believe it, just say it. I am love. Yes, but I love that I am love. Why? Because love is all there ever is. And you matter because your matter is divine. So what else can you do? Hey, Lanier. Hello, everyone. Yes, we're talking about the solar eclipse in Libra and what you can do to harmonize your extremes, because we could be looking at insurance matters, medical information, real estate, buying property, because we'll talk next week. Wait a minute. No, the following week. The next time I'm back, because I'm doing an oracle reading next week, and then I think the following week. I'm not looking at a calendar. Let me see. The 4th, we could be talking about the lunar eclipse in Taurus, which is a Venus ruled energy as well, but a much different expression. So when you are thinking about the things that you would like to accomplish now, and whatever it is, whether it's, I just want to clean up my act, I want to get rid of old clothes in my closet, I want a new look, I want to feel better, I would like, my living room to look different. Whatever the situation is, it's all about creating your reality. That's it. That's bottom line. And when you move your energy out of one thing, and then you're feeling good, you're moving along, you're in the wave, and then suddenly there's a particle, and that particle is a thought or an experience, and it says, yeah, you can't do that, or what, blah blah, and you stop, and there's that feeling again that you had when you were 12 or 6 or 17 or 28. It doesn't matter. It's right. It's repetitive because you're hardwired. Your neuroplasticity needs new things to create new wires and neurons so that you can jump tracks. That's a quantum leap. If you don't ever do anything new. My kid was 3, I think. And I would say, "Oh, let's watch this new movie." Yeah, I don't want to watch a new movie. I want to watch the old movies. And I was like, "Okay, honey, but we've seen all the old movies for months and months. And the only way we can add and make it." I was trying to help them negotiate the extremes in their brain. And I said, we have to give something new a chance in order for it to become familiar. And that's the scary part about neuroplasticity for some people who are just stuck in their ways. Nope, I've always done it this way. This is why I'm going to do it. And that's how I'm going to do it tomorrow. Till the day I die, that's what I'm doing. Well, let's say, and it's very simple. Let's say you just choose to fold your hands differently, where one thumb is on the other side now. And you're like, oh, that feels different. Okay, that's different. Get used to little things. Instead of getting up and working out the same way every day, get up and do a different thing. Walk around the block instead. Change up the routine is what I'm saying, because when you add a new routine, you break up extremes. And that's what this looks like right here. Oops. That's what this looks like. You break up extremes when you add a new routine, and it can be simple. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to learn cliff diving, and you're afraid of the water and heights. No. We're going to go visit our kid who's doing rock climbing now in a gym. And I did it once a long time ago, and I was not great at it. But so I started working out again, like consistently with weights. And I said, I want to go to the gym with you. And even if it's just 18 inches off the floor, I'm going to do this thing. So I'm not setting myself up for failure or an extreme. It's like, I'm just going to start little baby steps, but I'm preparing for something different. And so when you do that, you create new neurons in your brain. And then with repetition, you hardwire them. And then suddenly it's like, wow, I've changed. I have transformed. Our minds, there's your holy trinity in the spiritual world, according to me, is your higher inner self. You're an extension of the light. You're an eternal, celestial, sentient being. What's the problem? It's like, these shoes don't fit. I just bought, and they didn't call me back. And it's like, okay, we can look up instead of looking down and narrow focusing. Look up. There's something you can always see that's different. Oh, the color of the green on the pears are blooming in my neighbor's yard. Oh my God. Hey, he said, grab over, take some. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to try something new. And so when you do this thing, and you realize I'm stubborn. Libra, Taurus energy, very stubborn. And it doesn't matter if you are a Libra or a Taurus, very stubborn. So, hey, Rikara, 28 minutes on time as usual. It's all right. There's a replay. Barbie says, love that, preparing for something different. Just prepare in an easy way. If you're always doing this, go that way. Libra is great for if you're always the one asking the questions, sit back. Now, share, answer, let them ask the questions. And what's really important that when it comes to relationships, and Libra guides relationships and the harmony between them, and Taurus as well, it just wants to be cozy, have a big bowl of mac and cheese, a blanket, a good movie, and cuddle up with somebody or their pets. And so at the end of the day, it's if you're not relating in a way that is supportive for you or the other person, this is what's going to come out this month. The extremes are going to show themselves. And so there might be some unexpected surprises about your behavior. So, just be aware of that. And then you say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I was talking so fast. People have said that to me. Oh my gosh, slow down. You're talking so fast. I can't understand. It's like, oh, okay. Wow. But sometimes when I'm in a reading, it just comes. But in a social situation, I'll just like, blah, 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 and then I'll realize, oh my gosh, I am like overtaking this conversation. So I take a breath and I relax my neck, Taurus. I just relax myself and then ask questions. How many times have you gone to a dinner party or somewhere, a social event, and you meet somebody and all they do is like, and I do this and I do that and I do this and I do that and I do this. And you say, oh, yeah, I love that. And they're like, yeah, me too, because this is what happened to me last year and the year. And so they never ask. If you're not asking questions of other people, but also if you're not listening, because I also know people who only ask questions. And it's like, people will say, aren't they so polite and thoughtful? They're always asking questions. And I said, yeah, that's so true. But how much do you know about that person? Have they shared anything about their personal life or emotional self or their intellectual thoughts? No. Extreme. So give, get, give, get. Give a little, take a little, but in that harmonious way by being present. And someone last year, I was getting to know someone and they said to me, I was talking about something for 10 minutes or whatever. And I said, now you talk, you tell me, how was that thing you were saying you were going to do? Oh, that. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, that was a lot. Listen, I don't want to talk about that. Okay. And then it was back to me. So it was like, okay, this person doesn't want to share. How far can I go in a relationship if someone doesn't want to share? Right? So you want to pay attention to the people that you've known forever. Not just the new ones, but the people you've known forever. And are they asking you any questions? Do they want to get to know you? That's going to be an eye opener for a lot of folks. Does that make sense? And we can't expect them to change. And if they're family, we don't throw them out with the garbage, but we can set new standards for our emotional self. Let me pull another card, because while it's like, oh, I realize I give way too much. I'm just going to pull back, create a little harmony in this relationship. And a lot of times when you're not around, people are like, hey, what happened? Where'd they go? And then they reach out. And then you can say, I was always reaching out. So I just thought, I don't want to pursue anymore. I just thought, when you're ready, you'll call me. And that's where I am with everything right now. Because it's like, it's an expenditure of energy, right? So, all right. So I'm just going to pull another card. So keep in mind that and I'll show this one more time. Let me go closer. Ta-da. All right. As we head toward October 14th, what you're going to notice more and more are the extremes. And this can also be because of what you've been manifesting for the past 6 months. Eclipses happen in tandem, 2 weeks apart. Sometimes there's 3. But we're going to experience 2 in October, October 23, if you're watching this in a replay. And 6 months prior, there were 2, April and May. And so the Aries Taurus energy, now it's the opposite. It's the Taurus Libra energy. So there's going to be a harmonizing for the next 6 months. And some people will feel it more intensely than others. But for the next 6 months, there's a harmonizing going on between what you're outputting and what you're allowing. So, and that's in every category. So if you've just been spending your cash, suddenly it's going to be, oh, I should budget. I think I should get a savings thing or invest in something, or I need to research that. So that's the middle ground, right? When Pluto squaring these things says, what's the deeper meaning? Why? What's your why? Why are you doing this? Why do you have a need to do that? Why are you doing that? And so that's when you ask yourself those big questions that when I am ready to do or be, and I am looking at the situation in front of me, and I'm already geared up from the last hour, the whole day, the week. What a week I'm having. I think of Eugene Levy in the movie Splash. I just love that line. What a week I'm having. And it could just be 5 minutes that you're having that week. And you just say, okay, but why do I feel the need to continue? Why do I have to push through? Why do I keep pushing myself? Why? It's not necessary. That's an extreme that you can solve. So if you're looking at financial information, and I'm not doing personal readings right now, but if you're talking about a financial situation, Libra is all about making the money count. Is that a play on words? Libra is about making the money count. So, what are your extremes? And I'm not talking so much about action, I'm talking about behavior. I'm talking about attitude and feelings. If you think this pen is worth $50, then it's of value to you. If you don't have the $50, then how will you get the $50? It's of value how you do that. That's the Taurus vibe that's coming into play. And as well as Libra, because Venus energy represents finances, security, and legalities, relationships, and your relationship to these things. What's your relationship to money? Pick up a coin from your country, or a dollar bill, or whatever the bill is, and just look at it and say, oh, there's never enough. Okay, well, we know that relationship is going to be lacking. Then you're going to output a vibration that says, I don't have enough. But here's Pluto to say, okay, why? Why do you believe that? And are you sure? Are you sure? Or you might say, oh, it always comes. It always comes when I need it the most. That's beautiful. Yet you never keep any for yourself. Why? Why don't you treat yourself to something? So your judgments, let me get rid of this. Your judgments and your evaluations are also going to show themselves, if that makes sense. All right, I'm just going to pull one more card, and then I'll be back next week doing an oracle reading. So come back, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Ooh, we have the growth card, folks. We are growing. We are growing. Some people aren't, right? But that's okay. That's who they are. And it's your choice to stay or go as you feel appropriate. All right, just one more because I love it. Ooh, this is the perfect definition for Libra energy. And then one for Taurus, but they go together. Okay, so allowing. Allowing is the space between giving and receiving. That's the allowing. If you allow something in your world, if you allow it, it's on you. There's no blame, no judgment. There's evaluation. Then the next card, gratitude. Gratitude. When you have this vibration, you are putting out an energy. It's a wave. This is science now, folks, and neuroscience. You put out a wave and you're in the flow. And whatever your vibration is, you will match to a frequency that is the same. It's neither positive, negative, or neutral. It is just the same vibration. So if you attract someone, something to you, it's part of your vibe that's doing it. Make sense? So the more you are outputting the gratitude frequency and you are allowing the universe to show you what your wave is doing, oh, you're golden. Yay, hooray. I hope that helps, folks. I'll be back next week. And remember, as always, I wish you peace and I appreciate you. All right, I'll see you then.